research publication, how it's going to, add value to your CV. So I thought of starting with a small intro about what is research publication and why it is. So what it is, we all know nothing but the scientific information, the findings, what we have done. We want to make it available to everyone. And basically through our research publication, we try to share the knowledge, whatever we have gained, whatever knowledge we have acquired, we want to share it and we want to have a discussion with like-minded people. So why basically we have to go for research publication? What is the need for it? Obviously, the first and foremost thing is the recognition for your work. When we have done so much work, we have done something new, we have identified something new, we need it to be recognized by the public, by the experts, and by like-minded people. And next important thing is the discoverability behind that. So everybody gets to know something new has happened here, something new has been identified over here.
Right
and
now,
finally, it is
at
the
Git Commit Show,
awareness and
we
the
have our next
accessibility.
speaker
Awareness to the
connecting
public
from
that something
Sweden.
is available, and easily we want to make it accessible to all. So this is basically why we go for a research publication. So I thought of highlighting the difference between the different types of publication. All of us would have heard about this. So basically, what is a publication? We know anything written as an article is also going to be called as a publication. So how is it going to differ from a research publication? So research publication concentrates more on your work, a project work, or some findings what you have done. You are trying to convert that into a publication. And this term again, all of us would have heard about it, white papers. So white papers mainly it is oriented towards certain organization. So companies, so certain projects which are carried out in a particular company or an organization, that gets released as white papers. Patenting, that's extremely like owning your rights. You have identified something new, your inventions, you want to own it, so we go for patenting. Right. So I know very well in the audience we have a mix of working professionals as well as students. So I thought of setting a balance between both, working professionals as well as students when it comes to publication. So when it comes to working professionals, to employees who belong to an organization, unfortunately, related to the IP, intellectual property rights, organizations, especially industries, they don't allow for journal publications. They don't allow to go ahead with publication, but what is allowed in any particular industry are white papers. So my request to all working professionals would be to first check on into your IP section of your industry, get to know what are the rights being mentioned over there. Based on that, you can go for releasing white papers if you're really interested in coming out with publication. So why I would insist more on this is the reason being, be it industry or any organization, lot of inventions do happen. We try to seek out varieties of solution to all the problem. We try to seek out very new novel ideas to solve any particular problem, but unfortunately we are not able to publish it. But again, we have an opportunity, we can go with white paper. So it is a complete document which is going to detail all the solutions that you have brought out to a problem and how beautifully you have come out with a solution and how you were successful with it. So it is one of the best way to reach out to all the stakeholders, and that's why companies usually prefer white papers. When it comes to students, you have more opportunities. You can carry out lot many projects. There is no hard and fast rules or any bounding for you. You are free. You can really document your work, whatever project you have carried out, whatever solutions you have come out with, you can document it and you can go for either conference presentations or journal publication. And if you have really innovated something, means you have come out with some innovative idea to a particular problem, to solve the problem or some innovations, you can immediately go for patenting it. So for students, the opportunity is wide open. So you can concentrate more on paper publications as well as patenting. When it comes to working professional, it is more towards white papers pertaining to the IP of their particular organization. Yes. So what is the benefits of the white paper publication? So first and foremost, all industries and any organization, they prefer their employees writing white paper. The reason being, by default, it is the visibility and the branding. So as I was mentioning just now, it is very easy for any organization to reach out to all the stakeholders through white paper. So it's like almost answering to all the queries of all stakeholders through one medium. That is why white papers are always preferred. So people choose white paper through which they talk about various products that are being released and the various solutions taken for the problem, various technologies used. So it's very easy to address multiple queries at one place. And second thing is, and it is considered to be an appropriate marketing strategy to improve the sales. So people understand very easily and very quickly how the problem is solved and how the product is readily available to be used. And finally, very easy to reach out to the customer. So the customer satisfaction is to the core. When they read the white paper, they get to know the benefits and the advantages, and easily they prefer to buy that particular product. So these are all the benefits of white paper publication, and any employee of any particular organization, you can concentrate upon the white paper publication. You can bring out the whole work what you have carried out till now, all the solutions, all the problems what you've addressed to. You can try to draft it like a white paper and make it publicly available to all the stakeholders. So when it comes to the student community, that is what I told you, have two options. Either you can come out with your work as conference presentations or journal publication. But for students, I would always prefer to go for conference presentations. The reason being, in such a young age, when you learn how to handle the queries direct one-on-one, in conference presentation, it so happens you're going to present your idea to a set of audience. So wherein you have a mix of experts, you have academicians, you have skilled people. So lot many mix of audience you have. So the moment you are able to present your ideas in a very clear manner, you're able to handle the queries from their end. It boosts your confidence to the core. So that confidence is going to help you in future projects. So it is a different experience for you, and you will get a lot of confidence, be it with your skill as well as with respect to your projects what you have carried out. So when it comes to skills, it's like both your writing skills as well as your presentation skills, as well as a manner in which you can handle the query. Of course, journal publications are also acceptable, but in journal publication, it's going to be only the queries which are going to get over your mails, the soft copies, which are going to analyze your answer, and your queries are going to be accepted. Means answers are going to be accepted and your paper gets published. So for students, always I would prefer to go for conference presentation more than journal. So what are all the benefits when it comes to your the journal or your conference presentation, specifically be it white paper presentations or your journal and conference presentation? First and foremost, the writing skills. This is a new an experience for any person. Till now you will be involved in developing a project, carrying out a project, and doing something completely related to the project. So how to make that project now reach to the public? That is an art. Writing a paper is an art. So how beautifully you can narrate it, right? How well you can take it in such a manner. You talk about the data as well as a problem in hand, as well as how you have solved that particular problem, the technologies, tools and technologies used, which method you have used, what is the result, how you compare that with the existing result, finally how you prove that yours is the best. So this flow is not so easy, and you will get it over time. Time and again, when you start writing the papers, you start getting that hold. So it's a wonderful art to be learned. Second thing is a presentation skill. So it is not just about writing a paper, but to present it in a conference. So until you have the confidence about your work, the project, what you have carried out, and your understanding about your work, it's not so easy to present your work to a set of audience. So it's very important you carry out your project work on your own, understand what it is all about, write your paper, and then go for presenting. Third important benefit is obviously knowledge upgradation. You will be completely, with the current scenario. You will be getting to know what is happening exactly now and where am I, right? So full knowledge upgradation of the tools, the technologies, everything involved in development of the project. And next one is, you are going to share a knowledge base to the external world. It's like you are going to provide something new, a new information to the outside world. So that's a wonderful experience, because You will get to know like what people are thinking outside, where you stand. So through the interaction, you get to know very easily like what is the knowledge you are sharing as well as what is the knowledge you have gained in. And obviously the next one is appreciation and publicity. When your work gets recognized in the outside world by certain set of people, by a community, your confidence goes to a different level, right? Obviously you will start answering more questions in your placements. Like any company pose any question, you know what you have done in that particular project. You have already handled the queries with respect to a external community, so it's going to be easy for you to explain your work. So appreciation and publicity through your citations and through your credits over there. And very important thing is, through your publications, you get connected to like-minded experts. You get connected to your community automatically. You get to know who are working in this particular area, right? Automatically, you will get connected to them. That is going to improve your work. Might be you can explore more projects, more problem statements, more solutions, more innovations. Everything would be on the way. And add value is by default. Add value to your work, to your profession, to your resume, everything. And very important thing is there is a lot of difference between a resume which speaks only about academic excellence and a resume which is going to speak about all these stuff, meaning your publication, your presentations, your project work and everything. So it's like two different extremes. The moment people see your resume with all these values in it, means that's what? That you have presented a paper, you have already addressed a community, you have answered their queries, you have come out with so many publications, you have come out with some innovation. I don't think any company would ever feel like question you anything on your resume, right? They won't question you anything. They'll just ask like what you have done, and they will obviously try to absorb you. Or on the other hand, if it is more attractive for them, if it is something related to their work culture or something, they'll be more keen in getting to know to what extent you have understood it. They just want to check the depth of the knowledge, that's all. So these things will automatically boost your resume and the placements opportunity are going to increase. Exhibit the talent is by default. You're exhibiting your talent by all means. And last but not the least is nothing but your self-satisfaction. So that satisfaction what you get when you carry out your project work, you write a paper on your own, you present it to the crew, and that particular group, they question it, you're able to answer it very well, you're able to handle all the queries. The satisfaction what you get is obviously going to reflect in your next set of work what you're going to carry on. So these are all the benefits related to both white paper publication as well as conference and journal paper publications. Yes, so when it comes from project to publication, what about the actual path, how we are going to move? So this is something what I wanted to highlight more. So first and foremost, if we take how to convert a project to a publication, what it is all about, because many students will be involved in carrying out a project. They would love to carry out a project, but the moment I tell about publication, they obviously take a back seat. I don't know for what reason. For a second, they will hesitate. Ma'am, it's not so easy to write a paper. They'll be thinking like it's something very different out of the box. No, nothing like that. It's very, very simple. So let me make it very simple. I'll give an overall idea how easily we can convert a project to a publication. So to start with, when it comes to a project, okay, if our aim is to convert that project to a publication, first and foremost thing is we need to identify a problem. What is more important is that particular problem what we are identifying should have an add value to the society, because if that problem is going to address some particular problem to the society, I mean a societal problem, or if it is going to address to some particular customer pain point, it's very easy to reach out to the public and it's very easy to convince our stakeholders also. So what is very important is to identify a problem which is going to have some societal impact. Having identified a problem, the next important step is to figure out whether already some people have tried to solve this problem. Obviously, there will be some set of experts who would have solved it. They would have already worked in it. It's not like directly we are going to be the first people to address that problem. No. If that is the case, you are very lucky. Your work can be patented very soon, right? Because it's an innovation now. If not, if already some people have worked on it, it's my prime duty to get to know what were the different ways in which people have tried to solve that particular problem. So how different can I solve it? Like what different approach can I use now to solve the problem? Or if people have already used some approach to solve it, were they able to reach that completeness? Were they able to reach the solution? Or if there is some flaw, how can I address to that particular flaw? So these are the two main things I have to take into consideration. Whether the problem is still left unsolved, or if it is solved, to what extent and what best I can give for it. So through all these these way of seeking out what is existing currently, that is nothing but the survey. So through this survey, I try to come out with a solution. I try to figure out a solution. How well can I go for solving a particular problem? So having identified a solution, obviously I go for implementing. I start my implementation. Now I got some idea, so I start implementing my work. So I go for collecting my data sets, the tools, everything, and immediately I start implementing it. Having implemented, obviously I'll be getting some results, the training and testing phase. So wherein I go for analyzing the results. Post analyzing the result, I start with documentation. But truly speaking, believe my friends, the moment we start and our aim is to convert a project work completely to a publication, never postpone your documentation work to the end. That would be my small suggestion. The moment you start with identifying a problem statement, if you start with your documentation, it goes damn easy. So the moment you've identified your problem, make a note of it. What was the problem? What did you try to address? The moment you do the survey, yes, make a list of it. What were the different approaches? Who all have worked on it? What were the solution and what are you trying to reach out now? Similarly, the solution. How well you came out with the solution? What is the solution? So as and when you start drafting your complete work, it's pretty clear that your documentation is also parallelly ready. That's it. So your paper is ready. That is something called as a paper. This is something called as a flow. So if I have to tell it in a more technical terminologies, a paper flow will be like, it starts with an introduction, slowly with the survey. Then we move into something called as a proposed methodology, nothing but the solution. How well we are going to solve that particular problem, implementation, experimental results and discussions, and finally the results. That's all. So the conclusion. After experimental results and discussion, it is nothing but the conclusion. So how well you present it is left to you, whether you are going to give some graphical notations or a tabular comparison or tables, left to you. So that is a final formatting. So this is how beautifully we can convert a project work to a publication. So simple, and this is all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. First question I'm going to take to know the ways we can pursue research as our career.
Becoming a researcher, there are two ways. One is either you take it like you want to pursue a degree and you start with your research. Other is through your passion. For example, in this I wish to share my experience. For example, the reason why I chose my research was, it's actually a short sad story. I've lost two of my friends, very close friends, for cancer. So that is the reason which literally, triggered something like, if I'm going to carry out a research, that has to be something beneficial for the society. So depends. If your passion is towards it, first check out whether you have a passion. And I would always suggest to take up research through your passion. That's very, very important, because only when it is through your passion, you will enjoy the journey. How you seek out new things, how you get out the new findings, and slow and steadily, the journey you will enjoy when it is through your passion. Try to find out your passion. Very soon you'll be getting into research.
All right, so we have another question, and this is like, do all the research ideas or the research papers, do they always have to be innovative and breakthrough?
That is what I was mentioning. The moment it is highly innovative and novel, you can go for patenting. It need not be a publication. Research publication is like a comparison. Okay, I have a problem statement. Few people have solved it in a particular manner. Now I have identified a different approach to solve the same problem. That need not be a complete novelty. If you have come out with a totally new idea to solve a particular problem, or the problem was not touched upon by anyone and only you have solved it, 100% it is patentable. So before going for publication, go for patenting your work. That's very important. And equally, one more thing I wish to add, the moment you publish your work, you cannot go for patenting. That is also there. So you need to take a call upon it. So if it's highly innovative, you feel, go for patenting. And all publication need not be only innovations. It's like a comparison. I have a particular problem is there. I have tried to solve it in this way. 10 people would have solved it in 10 different ways. This is my way. This is my approach. And through this approach, I have got these advantages. Like I have found these things to be beneficial. You are trying to share it. That is your publication.
So something like a review paper, is that what you're...
Yeah, again, it's entirely different. The review paper in the sense, I'm trying to take a review. For example, same thing. A problem is there. 10 different authors, 10 different people have tried to solve this problem in 10 different ways. That is a review. When I add on my solution to that, it becomes a comparison. It's my publication. Yes.
Got it. So another question that we have, and I think this is from the working professionals. So how can they start as a self-researcher if they don't have any affiliation towards it, like with any university or something?
You can, of course, it's a great question. I'm so happy to hear it. The thing is like, there are two ways again. One is with respect to whatever work you're involved with now, as I was mentioning, your white papers itself will be result of your research only. You don't use a technical term as research, but all working professionals, we do it. Unknowingly, we do it. And through our research only, we're able to come out with a solution. So this is through white paper. Other thing is, without getting involved with any university, if you want to do it, then it's like you have to come out with your own publications, but how you would take care of your affiliation, I'm not pretty sure. But anyhow, you can start publishing your papers as a comparison. Whatever is your findings, you can start releasing it as publications. But only thing is, if you are able to tie it up to your PhD work will gain credits. Later stages, you will not be running short of papers. Anyways, not a problem. You can carry out whatever findings, whatever inventions you feel like you have done. You can start documenting it. As I told, if you start a workflow, you write it, publish it. Yes, that is your publication. There is no hard and fast rule. You should be bound to any university for that. Yes.
Some questions from the students here, and they want to know how important is research, like, to start, write a publication or do anything during their bachelors, and like, would this lead to something, and how can they get started if they are interested?
Very good. Wonderful. Believe me, dear students, there is, as I was telling, is a main reason why I took that word research. There is nothing to get worried about the word research. Okay, research. We are trying to seek out something different. That's all. And the moment you start doing a project, okay, especially through various community links or something, you start doing a project. You're trying to figure out something new, right? You're trying to do something new. You're trying to bring out something different as a result. That's all. Your research is already taken care. As I keep on telling, knowingly or unknowingly, when we start working in a project, we do research. Only when people stick on to that, the so-called PhD, or they tell I'm bound to some university, we think we are doing research. We explicitly use that term, but actually every project work, it is part and parcel. We do it. We try to figure out something new. We try to figure out a solution to an existing problem. So we do it. And there is no hard and fast rule. You have to do it. But the moment you start solving a project, you start working on projects, you start handling some societal related problem, you start trying to seek out some solution to the problem itself, you are into it. You are into it. And the moment you do it, for say, you have carried out a project. If you're not publishing it, okay, you've done a beautiful work. How does the outside world get to know you have done that work? You know very well, you have carried out your project, you're trying to present it. Do you think people have so much time and patience to literally go through that implementation part for so many hours that your project is working? So one best approach would be to get into publication. This is where our students slightly they lag. They're ready to do projects, they're ready to work for hours together, and they do the project work. But when it comes to your publication, they don't want to, because of which outside people doesn't get to know. Yes.
We have one more question. Do we need to build that project to publish it as a research article or paper? So I think they maybe mean, do we need to build it to the very end or something, or they can just publish an idea?
No. I think they wanted to get to know whether the project has to be completely developed on their own and should it be completed. Yes, of course, that's very important. The reason being, until you start, I got to know. Like for example, just now Sneha was mentioning about review paper. When it comes to review paper, you need not have any implementation in hand. But the moment you try to claim you have some solution for a problem in hand, it's always better you seek out that solution on your own. You should have implemented, you should have brought out the result, then it will be easy for you to speak about that. And third important thing is, there is no need or there is no compulsion like the project has to be successful. Even failures are accepted. That is more of a learning than a successful project. So your failures also you can share it as a publication. You can tell through this approach these things went wrong. So that those papers are very less, but it is equally acceptable. So whatever you have achieved as your result and whatever you feel, for example, if I take accuracy as a parameter, there is no hard and fast rule. Always accuracy has to be 99% for any project. Not possible in many cases. Critical systems, we cannot tell I have to aim only for 99%. Saving the life of a person is more important for me there. So based on the particular domain or for which particular reason I'm trying to develop a project, it varies. So it need not be complete, but you can publish a paper, not a problem.
It is something that a lot of the students are focusing on DSA and competitive programming and development, and then there's this entire other spectrum of research. What should you like? What can be the motivation? We did cover a huge lot of points that you mentioned, but if you have to just say one small point that can motivate this entire section of students to get started with research, then what would that be?
Wonderful question. I do agree. Of course, see, it's very simple. When you're in your lower semesters, when you're in your third semester, for say you entered your department, I would suggest you people to start with projects. First, start with project work. Never wait for academics to put a rule for that. No, whichever subject you feel happy, you feel comfortable, you feel like kickstarting, do start it. Start with small project works gradually. That's what I'm telling. This is entirely different from your academics. Don't mix your academics and this. Forget. So start with small project work, and the moment you enter into your fifth and sixth semesters, it's very easy for you. Try to seek out some good mentors. So they will be guiding you how to convert your project work slow and steadily into a paper writing. So gradually you can start writing a paper, and obviously when you move into 6th or 7th semester, at least one paper you can get published. So until you publish one paper, the first paper, it's all about the time it takes. Once that is done, you're completely on hold. So for which that project is the base. So start with small projects, identify a good mentor, have a good peers with you. Like the communication is more important. Have a good team, and then start working towards it. It will happen. First, segregate your academics. Never hold on to your academics. Just segregate it. Concentrate more on your domain of interest. It will help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah. Bye.